I quick want to just say thank you to those of you that were able to hop on the call with us this morning. This is the final day of the Resilience series. So we've had a series of webinars all week organized by the Cheektowaga Chamber of Commerce. And since she's right here, I also want to say thank you again to Melanie McGovern with the Better Business Bureau. Melanie serves on our board of directors, and she was really instrumental in helping to connect us to some of the speakers and build the content that we presented this week. So we really appreciate that, Melanie, and appreciate that you're taking the time with Lauren Kirchmyer from the Better Business Bureau to speak to us this morning about managing your online reputation. So we're really important content, and looking forward to hearing how we can best leverage the resources and the tips that you share and really put that into practice. So with that, I will turn it over to you both. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Christina. It is my pleasure to serve on your board. It's a really great group of people, and this week has been really interesting, very diverse topics, and we're thrilled to be able to share our content, our partners with the Cheektowaga Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to share my screen, Lauren. Is that okay? Or do you have yours ready to go? I'll do mine. Okay, here we go. Nope, nobody wants to see that. Okay, let's get into present mode. There we go. There we go. Okay. So today we're going to talk about managing your online reputation and promoting your business through social media. We should probably change the title of that then. With us, the Better Business Bureau. So my name is Melanie McGovern. I'm the communications director for BBB. This picture, I was just looking at it the other day, is from January of 2019. So we definitely need new headshots. And I'm going to let Lauren introduce herself. I've been with BBB for 7 years.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Kirchmyer. I'm the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator, and I've been at BBB for about 2.5 years.
Awesome. Today, we're just going to talk really briefly about a lot of aspects of online reputation management, but you're going to have a lot of takeaways. We're doing kind of not really a high level overview, but just be able to have everybody have some thoughts about things that they're doing, things they're not doing, and give you a list of things you can take back to say, oh, you know what, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. Or, hey, we're already doing that, we're awesome, which is always good too. 93% of consumers use the internet in 2020 to find local businesses. 34% of those were using it every day. We know we were locked down for a year. A lot of people started using the internet more to find local businesses, to read reviews, things like that. So it's really important to have that positive online reputation because it helps customers trust your business. It could turn searches into leads and could help boost you in local search. So again, that's what we're talking about today. We're going to go over briefly who we are, what we do at the Better Business Bureau. We're going to talk about the BBB standards, which a lot of people may not be aware of, but it's interesting how all of the standards do relate to how you manage your online reputation. I'm going to go over the basics. If you are a BBB accredited business, we're going to review your BBB business profile, your Google page, your website, online directories that you may or may not be a part of. You might not know you are a part of some of them. Some up and coming forums where, as a collective Better Business Bureau, we saw a lot of people searching for content for businesses through these forums. And my favorite, email marketing. Lauren and I are both going to talk about customer reviews because it's really important. And Lauren's going to talk about social media content ideas, social presence, tips and tricks, and things like that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lauren to talk about our service area.
Like we mentioned earlier, we are BBB of Upstate New York, which means that we manage the 48 counties of Upstate New York, which is everything you see in the blue area on this map. And then there is a second office in New York State that is located in New York City, and they manage the metropolitan New York area, which is everything you see in gray.
And this is our website. We are currently revamping it. It should be ready to go hopefully by the fall. This is still the homepage you will see. When we polled consumers a few years ago, when we did the first redesign, we asked them, when you go to bbb.org, what are you looking for? The first thing they said was, I want to find a business. So that's the first thing you see when you go to our website is the find a business. The second thing they said was, I want to file a complaint. That's the second button. The third was start a review. So that's why our website looks the way it is. We listened to what our consumers wanted. We gave them easy to navigate content, And if you scroll down a little more, you'll see all of the news alerts. We just issued one today for scam alerts, any kind of information that businesses might need to help them run their business better. All of that is on our website. But again, we really listened to people who use our website. The first thing what they wanted to do was search for businesses. And I'm going to turn it back over to Lauren to talk about the other services that we provide for the community.
The first is advertising review. So if there's anything you see when you're looking at labels at a store, or you're looking at ad in a newspaper online, and you think that's a little bit not off-putting, but maybe a little bit misinformational, then you can share that with us. We have people who look just at advertisements, review them, and let the companies know what maybe is a false claim, how they can clean it up to make sure that they're advertising truthfully when they're marketing their products or service. The next is BBB Scam Tracker. Melanie touched upon how we deal a lot with scams, and we try and alert consumers in the community so that they can make smart choices and hopefully prevent themselves from falling for a scam. You can look at Scam Tracker. It's interactive. You can search based on your community, a specific scam type, a date range, and you can do all that on bbb.org/scam tracker. And if you do spot any scams, we encourage you to go to Scam Tracker and report that scam. There's that red box that you see in that screenshot. You would just click on that, and it's a simple process. We have a team that does investigations. So if there's anything going on with a business or nonprofit, and maybe there's something that we need someone to come in and figure out what the problem is, try and have a resolution. We also have dispute resolution services. We have that team of investigators and dispute resolution to try and come to that happy conclusion. And of course, if that doesn't happen, then they take the next steps to try and find solution to the problem. And then there's also the charity review program, where just like our businesses, how we have information about the businesses on bbb.org, we have give.org, so you can look up the charities before you donate to them and make sure that the money that you are giving to this organization is going to be given to a proper organization. It looks like we just lost Melanie. Oh my goodness. And Christina, in the meantime, it says she shared information to Scam Tracker many times. It is a great tool. There's so many wonderful services that come with Scam Tracker. Like I said, it is an interactive map, so you can really dive into our Buffalo or even Cheektowaga community, see what scams are happening in your community, and help yourself from hopefully falling for that scam. Read up on the reports, how much people lost. So it's a great tool. In the meantime, while we wait for Melanie to get back, I'm going to pull up the webinar on my end.
I was just going to say, Lauren, too, as you're pulling that up, I know we'll give a quick second. Oh, I just got a message from Melanie. Her power went out. So
oh no,
we'll keep plugging away with her. But with the Scam Tracker, so a really good example, and especially, talking about how it's important to be aware of the information that's out there. We started to get a phone call to our chamber office inquiring about an open position. And we're like, we don't have an open position right now. And it turned out that there were some fraudulent listings for open positions with our organization. So we had to, quick get in and review. And that was the first place I turned, is to add the information into the Scam Tracker. And obviously with the connection to Melanie, reach out to get her thoughts on best practices too. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good tool, and important to be mindful of what's out there online.
Yeah. All right, so until Melanie can come back on, I'll just continue going through the slides. Hopefully her power will come back on for her. But with BBB, in order for our business to become accredited, they need to meet our standards of trust, and there's 8 of those. I'm going to go through them quickly, and I promise there's a purpose as to why I'm explaining our standards to you. The first is to build trust, so letting consumers know that you are a trustworthy business. 2, advertise honestly. So like I mentioned earlier, we have that ad review program that looks at ads, and if they're having false claims, our team reaches out to that business to let them know how they're advertising improperly and ways that they can improve on that. 3 is tell the truth. 4 is being transparent. You're not hiding anything from your consumers. 5 is honor promises. Anytime you make a promise with the consumer, with your products or your services or advertising, whatever it may be, you are going to honor by that promise. Be responsive, which we're going to talk about a lot today, that you're always going to be responding to your consumers, whether it's negative or positive. 7 is safeguard privacy. So if you collect any information from that consumer, you're going to make sure that no one else receives their phone number, their email, their credit card, unless it's strictly stated that something will be happening with that data, but you should be safeguarding it. And 8, embody integrity. So why did I mention those to you? All of those standards are keys to ways that you can be promoting yourself online. And the 3 specifically that we're going to be talking about a lot are trust, honesty, and responsiveness. So letting people know how and why you are a trustworthy business, that you are being honest with them completely, and that you are going to respond to them in a quick manner. One of the ways that you can promote your business is on bbb.org. You can set up your own business profile, whether you're accredited or not. But if you are accredited, you get some extra features that you can include on your profile, like being able to include pictures and videos. There's a lot of information that you can share on your business profile, which is why you need to update it as much as you can, just like you would with any other profile that you have online. Your BBB business profile is indexed by Google, and if there is old or wrong information, it can hurt your search ability. So go back to bbb.org, check out to see if you do have a profile on our page, if it's up to date, and if not, if you don't have one on there, or maybe if something's a little bit incorrect, we'll give you our contact information at the end of this webinar, and you can reach out to us and we can help you update your profile or get started with one. If you are a BBB accredited profile, so that potentials can see everything that you have to offer. You can include your contact information. If you're accredited, you can have your accredited business seal on there, your rating by BBB, customer reviews. If you are accredited, you can also access Get a Quote, so people can reach out to you if they're interested in utilizing you for a business and figure out how much that project may come to. You can have products and services overview, a history of complaints, business details, and then we categorize your business. So if people are searching for a plumber, for example, then you would pop up in that plumber category. Treat this account just like you would treat your website, which we will get to in a little bit. One thing we encourage you to do is look up your business and see what people are saying about you. What is it when you search the name of your business? What is coming up? And why is this important? It's important because you want to see that people are leaving you good reviews, good points about your business to try and encourage other people to work with you. You don't want to see this negative words and negative comments about what your business is up to, because it's going to detract people from going to your company in the future. One easy way to enhance your Google search profile is if you have a Google My Business account. What you can do is claim your account through Google, and this is a free service for you. You do not have to pay for that. It does take a little bit of time to first claim your account, but once you are able to do that, you can update the information just like you would a social media account. You can have pictures on it, all of your business information. It alerts you if maybe hours are changing for a holiday, or if you're just going to be closed. It reminds you to update your hours right there so people know when they can or cannot visit your business. And you can share posts to that account as well, just like you would on social media. So the example I have here was all of our information that we were providing when COVID first hit. We had a post up just letting people know, here are some of our resources available to you if your business is in need during the pandemic. You can also do event listings on there. And again, this is free for people to see. It's the first thing they're going to see about their business when they Google you. So if you don't have an account, we encourage you to claim that. We have a Google seminar actually today as well that is free to you. We can share that link with you later on if you're interested. See if your contact information is correct. Are your hours and links accurate? Do you have a photo of your building or logo? If Melanie was on here, she'd be telling you how there was a time that she was visiting a business that was out of our area, but still in upstate New York, but out of the Buffalo area. And she Googled them to see what their business looked like. And she said that the building didn't quite match where she was going to. So it's really important to make sure that you have that image for someone to see so that they know that the building that they're outside of in their car is the accurate building that they need to go to continue business with you. So for us, we have a sign because that's the first thing you see when you're driving down our street that our business is located on. You see that big sign that's attached to the brick pillars, and then you'd see our building behind it. So we thought it was important to have that sign in the front because that is the first thing you're going to see from the road.
I'm actually
And again,
back, Lauren.
oh, you're back. Yay, welcome
Yes.
back.
It was funny. So my neighbor texted me. He was giving a presentation too. But yeah, no, I'm back. So if you
All
want to,
right.
yeah, and I love that story. I'm glad you told that because it is so important to make sure that people know, especially if they're driving to someplace they don't know what your building looks like, or if there's a certain marker, like I said, like Lauren said, we have this beautiful sign out in front with the brick, and that's the first thing that people see. So it's the easiest way for them to know, hey, look, I'm in the right place. So anyway, I can take over again if you.
All right.
All right. Awesome. I heard you did an awesome job. So.
Oh, thank you. I believe, yes, there we go.
There we go. Now we're going to talk about your website. A lot of people will build a website. They'll have somebody build a website for them, and then they set it and forget it, which is not what you want to do with your website. A lot of people took over control of their website during the pandemic. They were managing it themselves, have a team member managing it. So they took it away from that third party. But again, a lot of people don't have the time to do that. So they do engage a third party marketing company to work on their website. So you want to make sure you know, first and foremost, who has access to your website. Just in case there's updates that need to be made and you can't make them, maybe you have a vendor who can do it or a team member, but you don't want to let people have unauthorized access to your website. So that's really important too. As I talked about with bbb.org, the things you want to get out, what are you looking to get out of your website? We asked our consumers, what do you want us to give you in our website? That's what we're delivering. Do you want a web presence? Do you want an online shopping portal? Do you want to give information? Do you want a call to action, click through for people? Do you want a form they can fill out to get more information? So you really want to make sure you know what you want out of your website before you even build it or start to rework on it. And then you want to know who your target audience is. How are they going to interact with it, and will it fulfill their needs? So if somebody's coming to your business because they want to set up a consultation with you or they want to order a product, is that easy to do? Is that the first thing they're going to see? You want to make sure that you have goals for your website. Is it click-throughs? Is it purchases? Is it video views? Things like that. And you can always use Google Analytics, which is free to everybody, to see, what time of day are people coming to your website? What pages are they visiting the most? If those pages aren't that robust, how long they're spending on those pages, especially if it's like a checkout page. You don't want to leave, we call them abandoned shopping carts. You don't want to leave an abandoned shopping cart. So use those Google Analytics. Make sure you know where people are coming from, how long they're spending, and really boost up those pages. Make sure they're exactly what the consumer needs so that, when people are looking for your website, they're going to have a great experience and they're going to recommend it to friends. There are so many online directories out there. BBB is an online directory. The Cheektowaga Chamber of Commerce is an online directory. There's Yellow Pages. There's all kinds of directories out there that people will curate your information from the web and put you on their directory. So you want to know where your business is listed. You can just do a simple Google search for your business name to see how many listings you have out there. Is your information updated? That's really critical, especially during the pandemic. A lot of physical business offices were closed, but a lot of the directories might not reflect that. So you want to make sure that you're updating that information. Some businesses moved, some businesses closed their physical location and went virtual. So you want to make sure all that information is updated. And if you are part of membership organizations such as the Cheektowaga Chamber of Commerce. A lot of businesses belong to multiple chambers or other business organizations. You want to make sure that you're reconnecting with them and asking them, hey, is there anything I can do with my profile? Can I add a photo? Can I add links? Things like that. So you want to really make sure any profile you have out there, especially if you're paying for that membership organization, is really robust, because people do go to those pages to look for, if I were a member of a chamber, I would want to do business with a chamber member. So you want to make sure that you're updating that, you have your best foot forward on all of the directories as well. This one is interesting, and Lauren and I talked about this during the pandemic. I never have seen so many people looking for recommendations in my life as I do on the Nextdoor app. So Nextdoor is a social network for your neighbors, and you have to verify that you live in the neighborhood before you have access to any of the information. You have to use your real name. So it's not something where you're anonymous, but people are asking for recommendations on Nextdoor. They trust their neighbors. A lot of people weren't able to get out during the pandemic, so this is the source they were using. So what we were seeing a lot was people asking for recommendations from everything from a financial planner to a dog walker to your typical construction type recommendations, roofer, painter, cider, things like that. So if you don't have a listing on Nextdoor, you can get one for free. It's really a great tool. A lot of people use it. And if somebody recommends your business or your business is mentioned, it gets tagged if you have that listing on there. So it's really a great idea to go over to Nextdoor and get a listing, just so that people will know, hey, I'm in the neighborhood, this is what I do, and you'll be able to have your business tagged if somebody does recommend you. Another one, and Lauren's going to talk way more about social media. This is just basically, it's like a referral group. Facebook groups. There's a group for my neighborhood. Every day it's, can somebody recommend a concrete guy? I'm looking to get some trees removed. So that's, a lot of people are making recommendations in these groups. So you want to make sure your Facebook page is updated, because what people are doing is they're tagging you in these posts. So people can just click on it and go right over to your Facebook page to see what's going on. When is this person opened? What kind of hours do they have? Do they have pictures of their work? Things like that. So like I said, Lauren's going to talk way more about Facebook, but that's another place where people are looking for recommendations. So you want to make sure, if you do get recommended, that you're putting your best digital foot forward in that space. Email marketing. I love email marketing. I spend so much time in analytics, building campaigns, looking at open rates, unsubscribes, things like that. It's a really great way to stay engaged with your customers. It's not dead. It's very interesting. One of the stats that I'm really interested in is unsubscribes more than opens, because let's be honest, we don't open everything that comes in our inbox. I engage with content when I need it. So if you have a lot of people on your email list and you have maybe a 16 to 20% open rate, look at your unsubscribes. If it's 0, if it's 1, that's not bad, because again, if people need your content, they're going to open it. If they don't need it, they're going to delete it. So I wouldn't worry about open rates at this point. But the truth is, open rates increased during the pandemic because a lot of people were relying on email marketing to get their message out, and a lot of customers were relying on email to see what was going on. There are 3 things to remember when you're composing an email for business. Is it the right content for the right audience at the right time? A lot of brands pivoted during the pandemic. They, told everybody, here's what we're doing, here are our protocols. We took a lot of our email for purely informational purposes. We used email to promote webinars that we had with the Small Business Administration, Empire State Development Corporation, so that our businesses, our Better Business Bureau accredited businesses, knew what was going on with the pandemic, knew what the New York State regulations were for businesses. We didn't send them the emails that we normally would send, like, hey, are you using your seal? Are you using our customer review app? Things, are you logging in and updating your business profile? We put a stop to that because we just wanted to make sure that whatever email we were sending was the right content for the right audience at the right time. So we didn't, we abandoned all of our traditional marketing campaigns and just used our email to communicate with our customers. And that's what a lot of brands did. Some brands didn't, and they probably saw their unsubscribes go up a lot because people were kind of sensitive to what was going on. They were very in tune to what was going on. So if somebody sent something that appeared to be tone deaf or appeared to be taking advantage of the situation, that's when it gets a little dicey. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure it's the right content at the right time. And the number one reason people unsubscribe is because you send too many emails. So you really want to make sure that you're being conscious of what you're sending, when you're sending it, and how often you're sending. So if you're doing 3 sends a day, might be a little too much. You just want to really take the time and think to yourself, this were in my inbox, and my inbox is always full. Am I going to open this? Am I going to read it? And then maybe think, well, maybe I'll just do a once a week update. 9 times out of 10, that'll probably get read more than 3 times a day. So email marketing is not dead. It's still a wonderful tool. Just make sure you're doing it right. All right, Lauren, let's talk about customer reviews.
Customer reviews are so important for so many different reasons. And the one is obviously because it's going to encourage people to work with your business in the future, buy your products, use your services, whatever you have to offer. And I saw this quote last year from HubSpot, and it really stuck with me in terms of why you want to encourage people to leave you a review. Who are you more likely to trust? A salesperson who will profit from your purchase, or a customer who has experience with the product you are considering and can give you an honest review? Most likely, you're going to go with the customer who's very similar to you, who's using the service or using the product for a very similar reason as you, and you want to see what their honest review is of that product or service before you invest your time or money into it. Why do you need reviews? It helps you boost your brand recognition. It increases your search engine optimization. It provides instant feedback, not only for consumers, but also for you and your business. What are you doing well? What maybe could you improve on? And it's a direct communication resource with your consumers. And where do you want to see these reviews? On Google, on Yelp, Facebook, and of course, Better Business Bureau.
And the one thing that's great about our reviews is that we reach out to the customer and we reach out to you to make sure that that review is real and that it's legitimate, that this was actually a marketplace transaction, that this person was your customer. If they weren't your customer, that review doesn't get published. So that's what makes our reviews different than everybody else's, is that we are taking the time to verify them. So that's why that's one of the places people want reviews is on bbb.org, because we do take those steps to make sure that they are legitimate reviews. Customers read up to 10 reviews before they feel they can trust a business. This is really, really important, that you're making sure that you're asking your customers for reviews and that you're monitoring your reviews when they're out there. 31% of customers said they read more reviews in 2020 because of COVID-19 pandemic, while 34% said they read fewer, which is interesting. And it makes me wonder, Lauren, if it was the type of business they were searching didn't have a lot of reviews, or if they were in a need situation where they had to just hire somebody right away. I don't know if you've done any research or have any thoughts on that. I mean, we've been dealing with this for so long now. I think it might have been, the latter, that they just had to, it was a business that doesn't really probably have a lot of reviews.
Well, one of the things with me, it actually touches on a point that's 2 comments down, is I was reading a lot more current reviews during the pandemic to see if there was that recent, especially with all the rules that were changing, what was the business following COVID-19 protocol? How did customers feel in terms of their safety and their health? So I was looking for those more current reviews. So for me, with looking at reviews, I was reading them a little bit more to make sure that I was actually going to experience a safe experience with the contractors that were coming to my home. Melanie and I both had a lot of projects happen at our individual homes this past summer, but I was looking for those recent reviews to see if it was a company I'd be comfortable working with, or that they were going to provide the actual product or service that they were advertising. So at least for me, I was reading more.
No, and that's really interesting, because we keep reviews for 3 years, and then they go away, because especially with some of our businesses that have a lot of reviews, there might be staff turnover. There's a lot of different factors that are involved. But Lauren's 100% right. More than half of consumers only pay attention to reviews written in the last month. And I do that as well, especially if I'm on one of the bigger websites, or if I'm looking at a product, I'll go and I'll say, oh, these reviews are kind of old. I don't know if they've changed the product at all. Again, like if you're having, like, say, a landscaping crew come out to your house and the review is 3 years old, it might not be the same people coming over. So that's why, we keep telling businesses, you have to get current reviews, because people want that content. They want that current experience. Just going back really quick, why you need the BBB reviews. We touched on it briefly. People are likely to look at Google My Business. And let's be honest, it's because 90% of searches start on Google, and that's the first thing that pops up. But they trust BBB because, again, we do verify those reviews before they get published. And it's interesting. We had a couple of new businesses who were really excited to be accredited, and they got our app, and they wanted to, they texted out the link, they got their reviews, and they were calling our accredited business team like, why aren't my reviews live? They just filed them. And we explained to them why the reviews don't get published right away. And they were very excited about that. They're like, oh, that's good.
Mhm.
So, it's interesting how people are just so used to everything being instant, like instant gratification. You go to, one of the other websites, you type in a review and boom, there it is. That's not how it happens with us. And again, customers know that, and they trust those reviews much more than they would any other website. So where do customers go after they read the reviews? They go to your website. That's why it's so important to keep that website updated. They search for more reviews on the other sites to further validate their choice. So if you make your choice, you say, I'm going with company X. I'm going to go look up and make sure that this is the right choice I'm making. So they'll go to other websites to make sure. They'll visit your location, or they'll give you a call, or they'll continue searching for other businesses if they don't see anything they like. So I always say, you see how it all works together? Once you got your website updated, your directories updated, you got your customer reviews all situated, and then the customer comes to you once they've done all of that homework. I know it's a very roundabout way of describing it, but it all works together. And that's why it's so important to make sure you're doing all of those things. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lauren to talk about social media in your business, because there's so many great tips and tricks that you can do to stay relevant on social media. I'm going to give Lauren the floor.
Thank you, Melanie. Social media is such an easy way for you to not only promote your business, but to get that free word of mouth to people who maybe aren't familiar with your business, your services, your products, whatever you do. Like I mentioned earlier, Melanie and I are going to talk about being responsive so many times. So with your reviews, you want to make sure that you're responding to complaints and those reviews as quickly as you can, because people want to see that you're taking the time out to appreciate the feedback that they're providing. So if it's a positive review, just thank them for their time to leave that review, and encourage them to come back and utilize you in the future, or to tell other people about their business. If it's a negative review, it's even more important for you to reply to it. A lot of people will look at reviews and they'll see, oh, that person left a negative review. Let me see what the business said, though. Maybe that client had something a little bit wrong, that they're complaining about something that wasn't in the contract in the first place. The business might say, hi, I'm sorry to hear that you had a bad experience. I would love to talk to you about the situation. It wasn't included in your contract, but we'd be more than happy to get that work done for you. Please give us a call and then leave your phone number. So if a potential customer sees that you're leaving that comment to a negative review, they might say, wow, they're really interested in working with their clients, and they care about what people are saying about them and trying to find some sort of resolution. Even though it's a negative review and they got a 1 star, I'd still consider going to them because they replied to that person. So it's that, again, positive reputation management, showing that you respond and that you care about what customers have to say about you. Answering a complaint on social media specifically can increase customer advocacy by 25%. So having that quick response rate on social media is going to encourage customers to work with you again in the future. And 79% of consumers expect brands to respond within a day of reaching out, over social media, but the average brand respond rates across all industries is actually lower than 25%. So people expect that quick response on social media, and businesses aren't providing that. So that's a huge way for you to even just increase that engagement with that potential client, is just by responding to them, because a lot of businesses aren't doing that. I saw this quote yesterday and I felt the need to include it today, so I just added this in last night. But a quick response could be a quick visit to your business. So if they're asking that question, maybe they're thinking about going to visit you in the next hour and they just had a quick question to see if you had a product, or if you were even just open. If you respond to them, that can get their foot in the door. So it's really important that you respond to your customers. And all of the stats that I have in our slides about social media analyzed all of 2020. So it's giving you a current statistic, not one just from a few years ago. Like Melanie mentioned earlier, figure out who your target audience is, especially with social media, because there's so many different outlets that you can post to. So figuring out that target audience now can help you narrow down which social media accounts you want to set up and have for your business. So that way you're not wasting too much extra time on a page that maybe your target audience isn't even on. So figure out who that target audience is, and then where can you find them. From there, advertise to them appropriately for where you are communicating with them. What you post on Facebook is going to be very different from what you post on Twitter, which is different than what you'll share on TikTok, which is different from what you'll share on Instagram. So find where your audience is and how you want to get the message out about your business and what it is that you have to offer. The one thing that is consistent, though, is people want to see visual posts. They don't want to just see text anymore. They don't just want to see a link thrown up on your account. They want to see pictures of your products. They want to see pictures of the people who they'll be interacting with your business, and videos. I'll get into videos in a little bit, but they're so easy for you to create. I know it can be daunting to create a video, but you can just do it right from your phone. It doesn't have to be any sort of fancy, elaborate video that you need to piece together and hire someone to do. All you need to do is click a button on your phone and you can have a video for your consumers. And I'll give you more ideas about that in a little bit. But a quick way you can just have a video on your account is by updating your story or your reel, especially now all the different social media sites have stories or reels. Twitter just launched Fleets not that long ago. So having that quick 24-hour video up there through a story or a fleet is a quick way to get your brand on people's mind, just at the top of their feed. Melanie, I saw you popped on. Were you going to add something on that?
No,
Okay.
I just had to pop off for a second, so I popped back on. But
okay. Your face just popped up on my screen.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. So why should you be on social media? First is, with over 53% of the world's population on social media, it's critical that your business has an effective social media strategy that helps you reach your intended audience. Being on social media puts you in front of so many people. So it'd be silly not to be able to get out there and put yourself in front of them when they're on their phones constantly or on their screens constantly. 54% of social browsers use social media to research products. So they're not just looking up on Google or your website anymore. They're browsing through social media to find businesses and products, or businesses they want to work with, products that they want to buy. And like Melanie said, asking for recommendations for businesses to work with. Each person spends an average of 2 hours and 25 minutes on social networks and messaging every day. That's 2 hours and 25 minutes that you can be pushing your brand out to potential new customers. Social media content is shareable and serves as free public relations among your audiences. So like I said, it's that free word of mouth. All you have to do is share a post and then encourage your customers to share it or tag a friend in the comments. But just having that post, it takes about a minute of your time, and then people with them sharing it, you're reaching brand new audiences that maybe you wouldn't have reached before. 3.6 billion people use social media globally. That's a huge number. And 57% of consumers follow businesses because they want to learn about new products or services. I used this example the last time that we gave this presentation, but I just got a dog in February. So for me, I've been following a lot more dog related brands, whether it's bandanas or collars or food and treats and toys. Those are all accounts that I didn't follow before. So I'm following those new accounts, whether I'm purchasing from them or not, just to see what products and services they have to offer to help me make decisions in the future for my puppy. So that's something that a lot of people do on social media, is they kind of test the waters and see what businesses are doing, what products they have available to them, and then make purchasing decisions from what they're posting online. And then 45% of consumers will unfollow a brand on social media if their content is irrelevant. So if there's an account that I follow for my dog and I see, oh, I actually don't like anything that they have to offer. I don't like the we'll say like the design that they have for the leashes or bandanas. I'm just going to unfollow them because I don't want to purchase any of their products. So they want to find those brands that are going to stick with what they're looking for and what they value. So if you don't have that, you're going to get unfollowed. Like I mentioned earlier, video is such an easy way for you to get your actual face in front of the clients that you're hoping to work with in the future. One of the ways you can do that is through a Q&A live. Melanie and I go live every Tuesday on our BBB Instagram account just to have a conversation about what we've been noticing in the upstate New York area, what people are sharing on our scam tracker, so we can share the latest scam updates to our consumers. If we have webinars, we talked about this webinar on our Instagram live the other day. So having that Q&A, you can have that live conversation, and it gives that real personal, authentic feel so people can see what you actually are like behind the screen, not just, again, seeing a post shared with no visual aspect whatsoever. They're getting that more personal attachment to your brand and your company. You can save these videos then, cut them up, and use them for future posts. So say Melanie and I talked about something on our live chat, I can save that video to my phone. And then say 2 weeks from now, there is something that we talked about that is very relevant to a situation happening. We can take that clip, that probably 1 minute segment of a 15-minute conversation, and reshare that information down the line and say, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Here's that information again in case you need any more tips or advice on how to handle it, which saves you then time and money because you don't have to recreate a brand new video. You can repurpose something that you already have. We encourage you to just watch your lighting. So think before you create your video, is it really well lit? Do you maybe need to add a few more lights? Is there extra light behind you that you need to cover up a window or maybe move your computer? What's your surrounding sound like? Are people cutting their lawn? If you're at home, maybe you shouldn't go live and wait a little bit longer. Are you in an office where there's going to be a lot of people walking back and forth? Can you put a sign up? I have a sign on my door behind me saying, I'm in a webinar, please don't knock. I'll open the door when I'm done. Silence your phones as well. You want to make sure there's not going to be any of those unplanned noises popping up. So plan ahead before you shoot video or go live. If you have fans or followers that are posting videos about your products or services, encourage them to tag you. That tag is going to bring hopefully potential businesses to go check out your profile and see what other work you've done or products you have to offer. TikTok is something I've been exploring a little bit more lately. We don't have one for BBB right now, but there's so many outlets that you can promote your business on TikTok. One of those ways that I like to talk about is by having encouraging your fans to duet your video. So if you're doing like a how-to video, for example, encourage them to do a duet and show how they're following your steps to make the product that you're sampling on your account. So a duet could be a fun way to introduce your brand to new consumers.
I would encourage everybody to watch our Instagram live video this week. Lauren's got quite a story about something that happened at her door, which is probably going to start happening a lot this summer. So that's where we kind of go more in depth about scams or events that we have coming up. So yeah, it's 15. I always call it the best 15 minutes of the week. So go over to our Instagram and take a look at that. But there's a pretty interesting story on there.
Yeah, and that person that we talked about came back to my house the other day. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, go check out that video, but it's quite the saga. Why is video important? 54% of consumers want to see video content from the brand they support. So showing the products that you sell, how can you utilize those products? If you are a service, show some behind the scenes videos on what you do day in and day out. go live, talk to people about what it is happening in your community. We process visual content 60,000 times faster than written content, and we remember more content longer. So if you want people to actually resonate with the stuff that you're sharing, that video content is more visual, so it's going to stay with them longer. They'll remember more of it. Video inspires empathy and emotions because it's something that you're experiencing. You're not just reading it, you're not looking at it, you're watching something and you're getting involved with it. 92% of consumers on mobile will share videos with others. You're more likely to hit that share button, whether it's to post it to your own feed or to send it to a friend. And videos drive the most ad clicks on Facebook. So for Melanie and I, all of our videos are pretty much just shot from our iPhones. We have a little tripod that was probably $15. And then if the lighting's a little bit off, we have ring lights for ourselves to just brighten our faces a little bit more. Those videos, they're super easy to just kind of clip, put up on social media, and then we've gotten more engagement because of the videos. I noticed, here's an example of what we've done with BBB. I noticed a little over a year ago, we were posting articles to BBB and they weren't getting pretty much any engagement at all. So I said to Melanie, what if we create a Tip Tuesday video? Every Tuesday, instead of sharing these articles, we can put a video together, talk about the article that's online, encourage people to go to bbb.org if they want more information, but we're sharing all that same information that's in the article just in video form. That engagement from switching from just posting an article link to creating a video shot up immensely. So try and find new ways to incorporate the information that you're sharing now, but in a new way through video. And a lot of other BBBs are doing it now too, which I think is kind of cool. A few more social media ideas. If you're stuck, tell people how you're giving back. I'm actually reading a book that our CEO gave our marketing team all about Generation Z, and Gen Z loves seeing how companies are giving back. They're a lot more frugal, they're a lot more thrifty with their purchases, and they want to know how companies are giving back to the community and to the environment. And that's their selling point. If they're torn between two companies and they see that one's giving back and another one isn't, and they're more just money oriented, they'll more than likely go to that business that's giving back to the community. So let people know what it is that you're doing for the community, because if they see that their money is going to be invested further than just their product into that company, they're going to be more willing to engage with them. Hold a contest. Make sure you're following the social media guidelines for contests. There's usually certain things that you need to include in your post with it, saying that like these are what you need to do to enter the contest. The deadline is this date, this is the prize. So make sure you have all that correct information in your post with it, and saying that like Instagram is not going to be held accountable. They're not affiliated with the contest. So there's certain specifics you do need to include with the contest, but it's an easy way to get people to follow you, to engage with your posts, to share your posts, to like it and comment on it. So it's an easy way to boost your engagement and then hopefully get more people attracted to your brand. Employee features. A few months ago, we started doing just anniversary posts, recognizing our employees at BBB for how many years that they've been working at BBB. And those sometimes are the most engaged posts that we have on our accounts. People love celebrating people that they know. So we encourage you to start recognizing your employees and giving them features. It could even just be here's our employee of the day, or here's our employee of the month, and celebrating them. People love celebrating other people. I mentioned before doing some behind the scenes, show people what goes into the products that you're pushing out or the services that you provide. Industry tips, what is something that you know that maybe other people don't know? How could you help them? They appreciate those tips and they'll remember, oh, I really liked this post. I really enjoyed the comments that they gave me. I've never worked with them before, but I'm going to go to that business now if I need this project done, or if I'm looking for this product, because I know that they're knowledgeable. Polls and surveys are another great, easy way to get people to engage with your comment or with your accounts. That could be in a post itself, or if you do a story, you can have that poll or survey it right in your story.
I always click on polls. I love them.
Yeah. And that's so easy. It takes 2 seconds of your time. You read it, you click on a button. And then all of a sudden you have that engagement from a client or a customer. Memes, GIFs, and quotes, as long as they correlate with what you do or what's going on in the world, you don't want to seem like you're posting something just to follow a trend, or you're just posting something and ignoring everything else that's happening in the world and seeming like you're not paying attention to something that's happening. But it's a fun way, just a lighthearted way to interact with people if you share those. Infographics, we share one a month usually with our scam tracker reports. So like we mentioned, our scam tracker, with those reports that are sent to us every month, I do a detailed report on what the top scam was, how much money was potentially lost that month. And then I'm starting to share if there was a specific age targeted, or if it was a military member or student that was targeted. So we have those infographics going up just to make the community aware, like pay attention to these scams, especially if you're in this age group. And user generated content, that's another way to get free content for your social media accounts. Encourage people to take a picture of their dog wearing the collar that you bought, or of the fence that you just got built in your yard, and have them share it and tag you in it. You can repurpose that content as long as you have their permission on your own accounts and say, oh, look at this fence that we just did in our one customer's yard. What do you think? Call us here if you're interested in getting your fence done too. I'm just saying fences because I'm getting mine done this summer. That's the one coming to my mind. But there's so many different ways that you can encourage your customers to create their own content and repurpose it on your own pages. 49% of people say that this user-generated content on social media significantly impacts their purchasing decisions. So again, people like seeing people like them using the products and services that you have to offer, because they can connect with it more. It's not just that salesperson pitching them saying, hey, come work with us, or hey, come buy our product. It's look at this actual customer using a product and seeing their experience with it. So it gives that more personal, authentic connection.
It's so much better than stock photos, or
Yes, that
like
too.
you said, just a link to an article.
Mhm.
My gym is really good at this. We will tag them in a post, they will share it. And,
Mhm.
you just get a little excited, like, hey, look, they're sharing my post. And I know there's certain people who go to my gym who do this every week and they get their posts shared. But again, it's free publicity for the gym. And
Mhm.
it's, it makes the customer feel good, like they care about me enough to share this.
Mhm.
So it's just a really, really great way to get content. Just go search for people talking about you and share it.
Mhm. A few more social media ideas, and you don't have to do all these right now. Pick one or two topics that Melanie and I have talked about today and implement that into your strategy. You don't have to go and try and do every single thing we've talked about right now. Take your time and make sure you know what you're doing. But on a lot of social media channels, you can do a header photo. So it's the banner at the top of your page. In that header photo, you can promote your event that's coming up. You can promote your webinar that's coming up. Have that information as the first thing they see when they click onto your page. On Facebook, for example, you can also add a link. And what we've done in the past, if we had a webinar, I'd have an arrow pointing down to the button that you can click on to register for that webinar. And then people can click on sign up here or learn more. And then we'll take them right to the link that they need for that information that was in that header photo. We also did that for our Torch Award that we give out once a year to businesses and nonprofits. And I said, if you're interested in applying for our Torch Award, you can register here. And then that was the link so that they can register, or so that they can apply for that award. So there's so many quick things you can do right there at the top of your profile. If you have an important post, so if you do have that event that's coming up, or you have a sale going on, or you want to have the post about your COVID-19 protocol, you can pin that to the top of your page. So after that cover photo, the first post that they're going to see from your business is this pinned post with all that valuable information that you want them to see first and foremost, so that they don't have to scroll back 4 weeks ago or 2 months ago to find that information. It'll be right there at the top of your page. Just make sure for both the header photo and that pinned post, as soon as it's irrelevant, so as soon as that sale is done or that event is over, make sure you unpin it or change that header. Pay attention to the times your audience is paying attention. By that, I mean on pretty much every social media channel. If you have a business account, you can look in your insights or your analytics and see when your customers are actually using that channel. So if you're on Instagram, for example, you can go to your insights and see, oh, people are paying attention or they're logging on, or more around 6 p.m. That's when people are checking out our profile. So if you normally post first thing in the morning at 9 a.m., maybe save that post until 6 p.m. Or if it's an event you're promoting, share it the night before at 6 p.m. So find out what that time frame is that people are paying attention, and then share that post around that time so you can hopefully get more engagement. Use hashtags on the appropriate social media channels if you know what they're for. You always want to make sure that whatever hashtags you're using are appropriate, and that you're not just jumping on a hashtag just because it's popular, because you might be affiliating your business and your brand with something that you don't want it to be connected to. So just because a hashtag is popular doesn't mean that you should be using it. Look at your competitors, see what it is that they're doing and what works for them, and then find ways to include that with your business, because it's clearly getting engagement, it's clearly working for them. So how could you take that similar concept and apply it to you and what you're doing and what you're posting? It's okay to work with your competitors in that manner. Create a calendar to help you keep up. This is especially helpful if we go through another pandemic. I have a calendar both on a website that we use to schedule all of our posts, but I also keep a hard copy of it as well, just so we know what's getting posted, when it's getting posted, and where it's being posted. Or actually the Blue Jays scam that Melanie was talking about earlier that she posted yesterday, she messaged me and she goes, "Do we have anything going up tomorrow morning? Because we need to push it back." Well, I had my calendar. I was like, nope, we're good. We're good. Everything's clear. You can post something at 8 a.m. It's not going to interfere with anything else, because that post is very important. So if you have that calendar, it can help you keep track of that, but it also can keep track of if you know that you want to post something on a certain day. There's a Chamber of Commerce Day, for example. So maybe the Cheektowaga Chamber will be posting more posts that day to celebrate Chamber of Commerce Day. So find things that your business can affiliate with and include that on the calendar so you don't forget to participate. Do an annual social media audit. It's not as intense as it sounds, but see what posts are working for you, what posts aren't working for you. How can you change things up in the future? Have you been posting to a specific time, but you realize that time worked a year ago, and that's not the same time frame that people are on your Instagram account now? So do that audit just to see if there's anything that needs a little tweaking. Like I said, we did that with the links. We saw people weren't really associating with our links, but they loved the videos. So we changed that because of that social media audit. And again, respond to people. They want to have that quick response on social media. That was a lot.
There we go. Yeah, but it's all good information. So I laughed because I was nervous yesterday. I'm like, Lauren, I have breaking news I have to post tomorrow. Is it okay? Because I know you are like so specific about the social media posts, but yeah. So I mean, if anybody wonders what we're talking about, so the tickets for the Buffalo Blue Jays games go on sale next week, and they're already on the secondary market, and there are no tickets yet. So go check out that warning and information from the Blue Jays about how to buy tickets for the games. Just a couple more things, and then we'll wrap up for questions. When you're staying informed, you want to make sure you're using the appropriate resources. During the pandemic, there was a lot of misinformation out there. So anything regarding your business, you want to make sure that you're using the SBA's website. We actually talked about this yesterday during a cybersecurity webinar. So many businesses were clicking on the ads for people using the Google AdWords of SBA, PPP, things like that. So you want to make sure you're actually going to the legitimate SBA website when you're looking for information, or Empire State Development, any kind of information about health protocols. You should use the CDC or your local county health website to make sure that your business is following those protocols. You always want to maintain that positive reputation, especially now that we're coming out of the pandemic. You want to make sure you're not doing anything that looks like you're taking advantage, or you're making inflammatory comments. I mean, a lot of people represent the business. I mean, I'm the spokesperson. I am the Better Business Bureau. So people see my name, they immediately associate me with the BBB. So that's why I don't comment on things on social media, unless it's, something that I know is accurate. because you don't want to be that person who's making comments and all of a sudden there's screenshots of you all over the place. You just don't want that, especially local businesses. We see this happen a lot. So just really be mindful of what you're posting and what you're saying.
Melanie
You want to talk?
can I say one thing real
Yeah,
quick? That brings up a
absolutely.
great point. Screenshots can happen so quickly. You don't know
Yep.
who's taking screenshots or what. So that's why it's really important to think before you post, because you want to keep that positive reputation. You might have posted something and then taken it down, but that screenshot could be out there and people can then share that screenshot. So think before you post anything, because it can come back and hurt your business and your brand.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even realize that. So that was a great point.
Mm-hmm.
You want to promote honesty. You want to let people know, hey, we can only allow 3 people in the store at a time, or we have reduced hours still. And you want to let people know you're following health and safety protocols as well. So those are just a couple of the last minute online reputation tips that I had. And I think with that, we're going to go into questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring Christina back on. There she is.
Yeah, so just a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A or put it right in the chat box. That was incredible content and information. And, I think even the social media is such a huge component and a huge way to communicate your brand identity and tell the story of who you are and what you do. And I mean, on our end, I think sometimes it can also be a bit overwhelming and daunting, but some of the tips that you shared, I think really convey how we can just integrate social media into everything that we're already doing, by sharing those stories of your employees or board of directors in our case, and we can, and especially our members, right? And to be able to help communicate their brand and their stories. And, I'm looking forward to really implementing and putting into place a lot of the tips that we heard today. So I appreciate
Interesting you bring that up, because next week we are talking with some of our BBB accredited businesses during the lunch hour on Facebook Live. We did a call to all of our businesses to talk about how they survived the pandemic, what they did, how they pivoted. So starting Monday at noon with Lauren, we're going to have our businesses telling their stories, and there's some incredible stories.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest tuning in Wednesday, because the gentleman we're talking to on Wednesday is
So
he's such a wonderful story. He's very passionate. He is just thrilled to be BBB accredited, and we love having him. So it's Lauren and I talk about all this stuff, and we're starting to do a lot more of it. As BBB, we have to be careful, but we can have our businesses tell their stories, and we want them to help us tell our story in so many ways.
That's great. That's a great point. Yeah. And it's more engaging. It humanizes, who we are and what we do and what's important to us. So I love that. So I don't see any questions popping up, but the contact information is here. I also get a lot out of Tip Tuesday and a lot of the Instagram lives and a lot of the information that BBB is constantly putting out there. So be sure to follow all of their social media handles and stay tuned for upcoming events and webinars. Visit the chamber website. We often list a lot of them there as well. So many ways to engage and access the information that's out there. So any final thoughts?
We're here if you need us, so feel free to reach out. Melanie and we both have all of our social media profiles right on our phones, our work phones. So if you, for some reason, lose our contact information here, or you can't find it online, which you should be able to, you can message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and it'll go right to me and Melanie. So that could be another backup for you if you get stuck.
It's funny when you were talking about responding. Every time I get something, it's called Business Suite now. I'm like, oh, we got to respond. And then I'm like, oh, Lauren already responded. Wow, that was fast. It's funny because this is competitive, Melanie, right here. They give you a response time average now. And I want our response time to be really quick. So, that's why it always makes me wonder why some brands don't respond right away. I'm like, it's right there. They're telling you.
Awesome. Very good. Well, thank you both again for being here. We are going to be wrapping up and closing out the Resilient series this afternoon with our partners at Spectrum Reach, who will also be kind of continuing this trend of discussion on strengthening and protecting your digital brand. So the team there will be sharing 3 digital advertising essential tips with us. So that content will also be recorded and will go live on social media as well. So lots of ways to take advantage of the information out there. And be sure to continue to visit the Chamber of Commerce website to stay tuned with what we have going on. We have a golf outing fundraiser coming up June 22nd and are thrilled to be back at Diamond Hawk Golf Course right in Cheektowaga. And the new ownership team there has really been amazing. So we're looking forward to an outstanding event on the 22nd. And as always, if you have any questions or need assistance or just want to reach out and pick our brains, we'd love to hear from you. You can always contact the Chamber office or all of the contact information that we have available on our website. So thank you again, Lauren and Melanie and the team at the Better Business Bureau, and we'll see everyone soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Goodbye.